My best friend demoted me from being her maid of honor after I sacrificed so much to accommodate her, and now I'm thinking about ditching her wedding entirely. Posted by you/sweetfun179. Nearly a year ago, my best friend asked me to be her maid of honor. I was so excited, and I said yes and took the task very seriously. I've gone dress shopping with her for her dress and went shopping with her for bridesmaid dresses as well. I've spent hours addressing save the dates with her, kept in contact with her bridesmaids about ordering their dresses and planning jewelry and shoes in the color she wants. I made sure someone could organize her bridal shower because I was out of state for work for 3 months, making sure they understood her wishes for the party. I also personally took the time to look through her decor inspo and saved items on an Amazon list for her to go through so she could look at affordable options she wanted to purchase, which she was very happy about. I also want to note, I have already planned her bachelorette party and just needed to call and finish the booking process completely, as we are a little more than a month out. It's being hosted in town and a very chill night as she requested. I travel for work, and I turned down multiple jobs so I would be close for her wedding and events, or if she were to need my help planning these last few months. This has resulted in me being out of work for the last 3 months because she was upset I was going to be out of state. There have been no jobs close enough to home that made sense, as I'd have to drive back home multiple times during my assignment. But I finally found a job, hooray. I literally rearranged my career just to be close by to help her. It was a shock to me to receive a very lengthy text this week telling me she was going to have someone else take over as maid of honor and she was demoting me to a bridesmaid because I told her I may not be able to attend the bridal shower due to work. I could only submit a request for the weekend of her wedding off. I would attend the rehearsal but maybe not the rehearsal dinner because I was under the impression I had to pay for dinner myself and it was at a very expensive restaurant, and because I cannot currently afford to get my nails done the day before the wedding, and I told her I likely won't be attending that event either. Finances are tight with a new house, personal wedding planning, and a baby on the way. She also feels I haven't communicated with her enough, even though I check in at least once a month asking if she needs me. I always end these convos by telling her she should reach out if something comes up. Also, apparently, my texts don't come off as being excited for her, which makes her mad. I guess she feels like I don't want to be involved at all because of these few things, thus her stripping me of the position after I've done all this work. This text also came right after I asked if we could have a backup learn how to bustle her dress in case my pregnant belly doesn't allow me to bend and squat very well to do it on the wedding day. Apparently, it saddened her that I even asked. She said she needs someone who will be there for all events physically to support her. I feel pretty bummed and disrespected right now, as if nothing I did mattered. I am considering stepping down completely after this. Would I be the jerk for doing so? Top/relevant comments. Commenter. Wow, massively not the jerk. You've gone out of your way for this person, who you thought was your best friend, and she pissed all over you when you couldn't put 100% of your own life completely on hold to wait on her hand and foot. You are not the jerk, and I would seriously reconsider whether this is even a friendship. If it were me, I wouldn't go to the wedding at all. Adds an edit to her post. I sent a text last night that outlined essentially everything I've done listed here in this post, and I expressed how hurt and disrespected I felt. I told her what I felt a maid of honor is, and that I felt this wasn't it. That it's all basically transactional and based on what more I could offer her. I also included the fact that she hasn't personally communicated with me much either lately, about the wedding or my personal life. I politely let her know I'd be stepping down. Sent over 8 hours ago with no response as of yet. Update 1 month later. Thank you all so much for the kind comments and support. I felt validated in my decision to ultimately step down from the wedding overall. It was good to hear from others that I wasn't overreacting or being hormonal lol. The update is kind of boring, but an update nonetheless because a couple of commenters asked for one. Sorry it took so long. I sent a long text to my friend 2 days after my original post. The text outlined everything I've done for her and why I felt disrespected by her decision to demote me from maid of honor so close to the wedding date. I also made sure to tell her I've lost a lot financially in trying to be a good friend and stay close for her wedding and events, as she had wanted. I ended the message by telling her I still want her to enjoy her day and I don't want it to be full of any drama or bitterness, so I felt it best that I stepped down from it all. It took 2 full days for her to respond. We went back and forth quite a bit, with her telling me the additional reasons for demoting me were that I hadn't been texting her enough or asking her about her personal life, and that I wasn't excited enough in my messages about the wedding, etc. Essentially, she felt I was more concerned with my own life currently, pregnancy and finding a job, than I was with her wedding. There were a lot of pity me messages from her, and after reiterating that I no longer wanted to be in the wedding at all, I stopped replying. I haven't heard from her in over 3 weeks. I've returned my bridesmaid dress and I feel so at peace with my decision. I don't think I'll be attending the wedding at all. Thank you for all the well wishes for my pregnancy and baby as well. We found out last week it's a boy. I also start my new job this week, so time to get my finances back on track and to try to fix the mess that has been created in that area before baby is here. Top/relevant comments. Commenter. You know how when someone tells their story, they liberate others in the process? You done did it for me, and I cannot thank you enough. I could give you the biggest hug right now. I've spent so much time mad and blaming myself over my situation. Like you, I was demoted as a maid of honor back in 2016, 3 months prior to the wedding, flipped my crap, and quit. I carried so much guilt while wondering if I had been the jerk this entire time. No more. If she reads this, she'll know it's me and that's okay. I've protected her for too long, so it's time to let the choppa sing. For starters, I am sorry you had to go through this and find out your friend wasn't such a friend after all. It is a deep, deep wounding to have your trust in a person violated over something as ridiculous as a wedding. May the pain result in better discernment and connections in the future. Here's what happened. I lived across the country, US, for 6 years at the time my best friend of 13 years got engaged, and we were thrilled. We talked about having small weddings and how over the top they could be. She only wanted one maid of honor and one best man. 3 months later, I was diagnosed out of nowhere with stage 2 breast cancer, which required aggressive surgery and chemo. I was only 29, and she came out for a few days for the first surgery but had never flown out just because, while I had gone home plenty. That should have been my first warning. Throughout treatment and the fear/chaos that comes with it, I continued to help her plan the big day while working full-time, even as she began making the wedding party bigger with people who couldn't afford to help out. I flew out and paid for half of her wedding dress as a thank you for helping me after surgery. I stood up for her fiancé when his brother/best man didn't want to spend an additional $70 on the bachelor party while making 6 figures and living high on the hog. 3 months prior to the big day, she opted to demote me after the bridal shower I flew in for wasn't up to her standards, yet her dysfunctional family was mostly responsible for lazily putting it together and didn't help me with games, which would have been nice since the chemo brain was horrendous, and I smoked on top of it to help with nausea. The venue they selected was a white trash mecca, and despite spending an entire day photoshopping a bomb invitation for it, she opted for the ones with Comic Sans font, I swear it. I was too late getting it to her, even though I delivered while suddenly moving due to an existing bed bug problem in my new beginnings apartment the complex failed to mention. She actually laughed at my misfortune. While demoting me at a restaurant, I needed, in her words, to let my cancer go. The last surgery was only 6 months prior. As I bawled my eyes out, she chastised me for moving away in 2008, for quitting my job, gee, I wonder why, and for being her proverbial punching bag. I got mad at her once for making fun of me when I expressed being tired of wearing yoga pants from being stuck in bed after chopping off my parts and getting chemo. I thought friends supported one another during the worst times of their lives. After going home, I completely lost my crap on her and dropped out of the wedding. Until today, I have felt like the bad friend for taking up space, for causing drama, for expressing anger. You've made me realize it is okay for our lives to happen, and some people are just so selfish. Besides, where is her happiness about your bundle of joy? Hopefully, my situation will diminish your guilt the way you diminished mine. You are a kind, considerate friend, and I wish you the best of luck. Sometimes, the trash takes itself out to let the treasures in. Ops response. You are so sweet. I'm sorry you've gone through so much thus far in your life. I can't imagine how hard those situations were. It sounds like you handled them all with grace and in the best manner that you could. Thank you for sharing this with me. It sucks that other people have gone through similar events, but it's always nice to know I'm not alone and didn't do anything wrong. I'm so glad this thread could help you get rid of the guilt you've carried. Your friend sounds awful, and you deserve so much better than that. I hope you now find yourself surrounded by kind, loving people.